welcome back. I'm Teresa Bruno, the host of the Soul Talks podcast. I'm delighted to be here today with Sheri Ryland, our resident therapist. You know what I love, aside from just adoring Sheri and loving to talk about all things therapy with her, which helps me a lot, I also love your responses to Sheri because you give us a lot of responses and we can tell what you really want to hear about. So we're going to talk about Mother's Day to start this day off. Hey, Sheri, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's the first time we've done this via Zoom/Riverside.
Yes, it's different, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I miss having you in the studio with me, but we're doing it this way.
No problem.
Mother's Day, I have a lot of feelings about Mother's Day. I think everybody has mixed feelings and probably triggers all kinds of things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I bet you hear a lot about that.
I do. And, for myself, being, when I first got married, I wanted to get pregnant. It took me a long time. So I understand that idea of Mother's Day coming and you wanting to have been a mom and not being a mom.
Yeah.
So I know that that's a big thing that I deal with a lot. I have a good amount of clients that I have dealt with either like maternal loss, perinatal loss, being able to handle the idea of I'm a woman and why can't I be a mom? And somebody saying Happy Mother's Day to me, assuming, or, to that person, assuming that they are a mom. And so that's also, it's not something we shouldn't say, but I think over time, more and more people are not becoming moms too, I think. But a lot of loss comes through Mother's Day as well. So that's a big challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a stage of life where I have two boys in their 20s, and gosh, they have just been my anchors in life and everything I've been through in the last 5 years of my journey. And I adored being a mom, and it was like the greatest gift, it's the life gift to me. And then I think it's my gift to the world that they are good humans.
Yes, exactly.
But on the flip side of that, I have a mother who is in her 80s and she has severe dementia. And though she's healthy in her body, she doesn't know who I am. I go to visit her and she doesn't know I'm her daughter. She doesn't know my name. She just calls me honey. And that, there's just immense sadness and, there's a lot of grief in having an aging mom, especially at Mother's Day. I can tell her Happy Mother's Day, but she doesn't even know who I am.
Right. She doesn't know that she's your mother. And that's another level. There's so many levels of grief that have to do with that, right? With the idea of processing that my mom doesn't remember who I am, the loss of who she is or loss of who she was. There's a lot of loss also around Mother's Day. Mother's Day is something that I hear from a lot of different moms, whether they're currently moms or they want to be moms. But the idea of can I live up to this idea of being a mom, becoming a mom, not knowing what it's like to, society shows us that this baby's going to be born and we're going to fall in love with it immediately. And that doesn't happen for everybody. So, and I think it's more common than we realize. So with people with postpartum depression, people who are, they feel like they should enjoy being a mom and Mother's Day, but all they want to do is get a break.
Right.
And right. So for me, my kids are 19 and 20, about to be 21. So I feel like I'm on the other side.
Well, and on the other side of that, I've seen photographs of your precious mother, your Cuban mama, and I just want to go over and hug her. Tell me about her.
Oh, she's great. Yeah. So was born in Cuba, came when she was 18. And so she's she's scrappy, but she's also very, as they say now, demure, right? So
Yeah.
she's very, she's definitely a Cuban woman, and she says her mind, but she also knows when not to. So,
That's good.
yes, yes. So
Did you
I'm
have
sure
to
she would not
train
be
her to
having it.
that?
Oh no, she she trained me.
She had good boundaries.
Yes, yes. She taught me. She has very good boundaries. I don't know that I have as great a boundaries as she does, but yeah, she has great boundaries. So yeah, but she's always made sure that Mother's Day for me, also as a mom, it has been celebrated. So it's we celebrate together every year as me being a mom
Aw.
and her being my mom. So that's that's well, I'm lucky. My mother, and she probably be really unhappy for me saying this, but she's 81 years old and she
Yeah.
definitely does not look like it or act
Right.
like it. So, that's the joys of right now being in that middle piece. I'm very thankful to have kids in college and also have my parents still being alive. Not everybody has that. That joy of being able to have parents that are still healthy and being able to take care of themselves and have people and have children. So
Yeah.
that sandwich generation is a real thing. So that's another thing with people going through Mother's Day of having to be a caregiver for their parents, but also be a parent and maybe being a single parent. So
Right.
a lot of different things going on with Mother's Day. And I think that our kids, I think in this generation, are a little more aware of what parents go through and what moms have had to deal with than say mine,
Right.
where we just kind of shut all that out, right? They didn't tell us any of their problems. So for now, I think like my kids, they pay attention. They know what's going on with mom. They know if, hey, mom, are you okay? Do you need to talk?
Right.
I didn't know to do that when my mom was, when I was my kid's age, right?
Yeah, and you
I
point out
don't know if
something.
my mom would have done that.
Yeah, she might not have. And my
Yeah.
boys are the same way. They are so sensitive to me and, are you okay? And can we, do this for you? But they became such caregivers of me when James died, helping
Right.
me get through what I didn't know if I could get through. And what a transition too. You just brought up something so important. A lot of mothers are single moms. I am now a single mom.
Right.
I have been a single mom for 5 years. I never in my lifetime thought that would be my role in life. And it becomes very
Right.
different because you think a lot about, especially with, teenage to early 20s boys, what they need a dad, they need a father figure, they need a
Right.
male figure so badly. And to try to balance that, gosh, I
Yeah,
would spend so many times in the early days after James died going, how do I do it? How do I give them, what their dad
would have done.
Yeah,
Right.
how do I do this? And I don't know how to do it. And we began to have some discussions about it, some pretty healthy ones, I think,
Good.
with a lot of tears when they would say, they came to me with it, saying, you're trying too hard.
And
You can't be daddy to us. He was an amazing dad, but you can be an amazing mom. And so we kind of learned
Right.
that was sort of my new space in the world as a mother.
Right.
But gosh,
And I think a lot of people, more people than say when I was younger, have been dealing with that same situation, whether they're co-parenting or whether there's no other parent involved. The idea of now being Mother's Day, thinking you're going to get a break and you don't, or hoping you could get a break and there's no one to give you a break.
Yeah.
Or celebrating Mother's Day with all this stuff that mom ends up having to do.
correct.
Right. And so that's another big stressor for moms and moms who have their own kids and still have their parents. And now I have to celebrate her. So like when my parents when my mom and I do Mother's Day, we get takeout and nobody's responsible. We go to the beach and no one's responsible for dealing with the food afterward or cleaning. So to me, that's like having people that can support you and let you have a break on Mother's Day as opposed to keep making more of pressure
Yeah.
on that mom to be the perfect mom, even on Mother's Day. So there's a lot of what we've talked about before of that idea of not being good enough.
Yeah.
Am I a good enough mom? Did I do the wrong things? I'm going to ruin my kids, and I'm going to tell you, as I sit in this chair in my office where I'm at right now, you're going to, no matter what. So they will have something to say to their therapist when they get older. Even if you were the greatest parent, they'll find a way. So do the best you can, and try to do right by you and your kids, and that's all you can do.
Well, thank you for all those notes on Mother's Day. I think it's very helpful to hear your perspective.
Thank
Thank
you
you for listening, and we will be back.